Hey everyone, I'm Jack Douglas, and today I'm going to draw my life. Damn it. I was born on June 30th, 1988, which makes me 21 years old. Which makes me 25 years old. I grew up in Columbia, Maryland with my mom, my dad, and my two older sisters. I wasn't actually born Jack Douglas. My real name is John Patrick Douglas. But I've been called Jack as long as I can remember. The only people who've ever called me John were substitute teachers. Even when my parents got mad at me as a child, they never said John Patrick Douglas, they always said Jack. Speaking of childhood, I was a weird kid growing up. I had a ton of autistic-like symptoms. For starters, I had a crippling fear of balloons just because I always imagined them popping. I was quiet too. For whatever reason, I couldn't communicate what was going through my head. And there was a lot going on up there. So I remained quiet for a long time. I didn't even say my first word until I was 3 years old. My first word, by the way, was 7. I had some kind of obsession with that number. I took plenty of speech therapy classes to try to bridge the gap between my brain and my mouth. It was a struggle. School was fun. When I was in first grade, just 6 years old, I got sent to the principal's office 6 times. In 1 year! One time, I was at the playground, and this kid I hated asked me, "Hey Jack, what's 1 plus 1? 2. Okay. What's 1 times 1? 2. He started laughing at me. So I threw a rock at his face. Boom! Principal's office. First of many trips. Another time, I bit a kid's face during kickball, but I don't remember all the details. Whatever, he was probably asking for it. When I wasn't throwing rocks at faces, I was reading a ton. Mainly nonfiction. I hated stories, but I loved facts. Useless facts, mostly about outer space. I loved math too. In fact, I used to calculate how many Plutos could fit inside Uranus. No, really. Like I said, I was a weird effing kid. But I was a whiz at math. I took all the gifted and talented classes in elementary school, studied my brains out in middle school, loved English too, which explains my obsession with grammar. I was an A+ student all the way into 8th grade, and the only thing I didn't understand was everything else. I was so awkward, I had very few friends at the lunch table. And girls? Okay, yeah, I wasn't breaking too many hearts back then. Couldn't talk to girls real well. I was as nerdy as it gets. Way too many video games, and way too much time on the internet. It's cool now, but I assure you, it wasn't 15 years ago. I also wasn't the most masculine guy growing up. I got called faggot a few times, but I kind of shook it off. Because, truth be told, I just like girls too much. In high school, I was still socially awkward. I never played sports unless you consider table tennis one, then you can call me a world-class champion. I ran indoor track for a semester, and that's as athletic as I got. But high school was when my love of music started to grow. I got into band class and played the French horn all 4 years of high school. I also started dabbling in piano, just writing short songs and ditties. I loved it. And that's when I got more creative. I started writing short stories, but I had no idea what to do with them. In May of 2006, I finally figured out what I wanted to do with my life during English class in my senior year of high school. For our final exam, we had to make a movie that summarized all the books we read that year. So my friends and I filmed a series of sketches making fun of books like Beowulf and All the King's Men, etc. We shot it all on VHS tape, and it was the most fun I'd had in years. That's when I knew that I wanted to make movies in some capacity. This is something I could pour my talent into. I should also mention that I was very religious growing up. Went to a Catholic school from 5th to 8th grade, church twice a week, CCD as a kid, got confirmed in high school, read my Bible, the works. Christianity was a big part of my life. But around the time I turned 18, I started thinking for myself, which is something I never really did before. I was told what to believe my whole life. I even went to school for it. But up to a point, I thought, well, what if it's not all true? And that's where I've been ever since. I don't like talking about religion because it's such a touchy subject and you really gotta tread lightly, but moving on. In June of 2006, the summer before I went to college, I found a weird website called YouTube. I saw some of my high school classmates were posting home videos there, and I liked the sound of it. YouTube. YouTube. So after that English project, I got a digital camera and started making other videos and putting them on this weird website. YouTube started out as a hobby for me. I never knew it would become a job. I didn't really come out of my shell until college. I went to American University in Washington, D.C. and studied film and music theory. Best 4 years of my life, by far. I ditched the French horn, took up piano, and wrote my own music. Made my best friends there, and I found myself. I was confident. I talked to people, I got involved, and I created so much. Constantly filming, editing, writing, always. That was my life in college, and I loved it. You know what else I loved in college? That's right, the books. Those textbooks were just so enlightening, I really ate them up. On YouTube, I started building a small audience with my parodies. I love to make fun of absolutely everything. I grew up watching Saturday Night Live and sketch comedy troupes. My love of infomercials growing up helped me make fun of them. And a few of my videos went viral back in 08 and 09. This is when I started to profit from my videos, which I honestly didn't know was a thing until I got my first check. When I graduated college in 2010, I knew I had to move to Los Angeles. I wasn't sure what exactly I'd be doing there, but I knew I had to move. In fact, it was Joe Nation who persuaded me. He was a friend of my sister's, and we all went to the same middle school in Maryland back in the day. He was doing exactly what I was doing, albeit on a much more successful scale. So I decided to give this YouTube thing a try. That's where I met Olga Kay, gotta love her. And Jess, and Steve, and Tay, and Toby, and the Fine Brothers, and people I still work with today. I owe so much to them. And that's what I love about the YouTube mentality. You scratch my back, I scratch yours. It's smart, it's fun, and it works. Up until 2011, I was making parodies, music videos, and sketches. My most popular series, Your Grammar Sucks, was a complete accident that was never supposed to take off. But holy hell, you guys wanted more. And let's be honest, I'll never run out of material, but I feel like I struggle to find that balance of PMS and YGS. Half my fans are subscribed to me for Your Grammar Sucks, and the other half are sick to death of it. So I'll do my best to make both at the same time, but it's tough though.